Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Legends Iron Man Mark 43, which is just a repaint of the Mark 42, basically with the colors inverted and a couple different silver details. I don't think he will be in the movie in this suit for that much time, but we do have a figure of him in this suit, so let's take a look at it. One thing I want to point out before we move on, this guy kind of looked like he had a sad face because of the way the eyes were angled, and they went way too far in the other direction on this face. Why can't they just make him square? It looks okay from the side, but from the front it just throws off the look a little bit. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it does look off a little bit. So as far as this guy goes, we probably have the most paintwork on this guy out of all the figures, and in most places it's pretty good. You can see the silver details throughout. They're fairly well lined up. The red is lined up, the gold is lined up. It looks pretty good. Definitely good enough for a display piece. You know, put him on a shelf. He will look just fine. My center arc reactor or repulsor is not quite centered, but that's not a real big deal, and it's probably not a standard issue. I did notice this guy's shoulder pads hug the shoulders really well. This guy's don't hug them nearly as well. I'm going to try to heat them up a little bit and see if they go back in place. This one's way out of whack, so hopefully that's not a common issue for you guys, because it does detract from the figure a little bit. One of the cool things about this guy is he comes with an opened mask head for Tony Stark to peek through. Unfortunately, Tony Stark has some kind of googly eye thing going on. One eye is looking off in one direction, one eye is going in the other direction. Apparently he doesn't know how to shave because his goatee's nowhere near, or his soul patch is nowhere near where it should be. It's just a really horrible paint job, and I think the sculpt is actually pretty good. If you wanted to repaint that, you could probably do so and get a much better likeness to Robert Downey. The open visor, really well done. I believe it's just a glued on piece. So if you wanted to pop that off and repaint that, I think you could do that and make the figure look really good, actually. But as it stands, Hasbro really needs to step up their paint work. If they could do that, probably at least 50% of the complaints people have with their figures would just be gone. Step up your quality control and your figures are going to be way better. That's all it is. It's simple stuff. Anyway, let's look at the figure in case you didn't see the original one. Head is on a ball peg and on a hinge, so you can lean it back pretty far. Not all the way, but definitely far enough. You can lean it down, full range of motion. The shoulder pads are technically soft pieces, but they're not that soft. They are soft enough to allow most posability. You won't really have too much trouble unless you want to put his arm straight up. Then that might be an issue. It's not necessarily the best design for bringing the arm forward, but it's not horrible either. There's really not a great way to do it unless you're going to sculpt the shoulder pad right onto the shoulder itself and then just put the hinge in there. That's really the only way to make it look good at every angle, but then you have joint issues, so I understand why they do it this way, so it's not a big deal for me. Bicep swivel is good. Double elbow hinge is stuck, but good, so that's fine. Then we have a wrist swivel with the pad on the hand actually, so it follows the hand around, so that's good. And we have a hinge. And then the pad is soft so that you can do his repulsor blast, which is good because even a lot of the Hot Toys Iron Man figures can't do repulsor blast, which is one of the reasons why I won't buy them, which is really silly for them, but whatever. So that's good. And then they painted the repulsors in there pretty nicely. The hand is kind of off-centered, but it's still a better repulsor blast than most figures can do. Diaphragm joint actually works pretty well. I don't know if you guys saw my review for the Mark 42, but I really gave this guy good marks. This guy for the most part gets the same good marks. It's not a perfect figure by any means, but it's definitely a really solid figure. And actually, if you could do a little bit of paint work and maybe rework the shoulders, really good figure. We do have T-jointed hips, so that's a good thing. They work really well out to the side. Going forward, not nearly as much. You could probably get him in his nice flight pose if you wanted to. The hands do limit that a little bit based on what you could do, but you could definitely get him in a pose and it wouldn't be a problem. Won't be able to get him in his crouching pose at all. His thighs are just too big to tuck in there and they didn't account for that. Thigh swivel is there though. Double jointed knee works fine. Knee pad looks a little bit weird, but it's not going to be bad once you actually get him posed, so no big deal. And then the ankles, I really like the ankles on this guy. They have good range of motion. Could go farther forward, but that's just apparently a thing we're going to have to deal with from now on from the Legends figures. And we do get an ankle rocker. It's not the best looking rocker, but it works. I just like them because they look really good when they're standing straight up and down. So I do recommend this figure. especially if you like Iron Man. If you're sick of Iron Man figures, then I would wait for the Mark, was that the 45? I think that's a cooler suit design anyway, but this one does look good, so I do recommend it. I'll pose him here at the end so you can see what he looks like. And I bought this at Big Bad Toy Store, so you guys might want to check them out if you didn't get any yet. I think they have Hulk and Iron Man. They're selling those guys individually, and the rest you're buying cases of either the retail assortment or the assortment without the doubles. But I bet that they start selling them individually pretty soon, so check them out, guys. I do recommend you shop there because it's a great place to buy stuff. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, wow, I can't pose. And wow, I just quit. I should just quit. In the meantime, keep collecting. That is such a bad pose.